Let's talk about retirement. Now, are you on the investment treadmill? Saving and saving, saving cash for retirement? Well, guess what? Whatever you're saving will not be worth much when you retire. Cash is trash. You have to make your money work for you. You might already have all the money you need, but maybe you're not using it right. You're probably relying on stocks and mutual funds when you really need to diversify. Opening a gold IRA, for instance, gives you an instant cash injection and gets you returns soaring. With gold likely to go to $2,500 an ounce this year, it's a perfect time. That's some boost. If you feel like this could be the answer for you, call the team at Noble Gold. Take out a qualifying IRA this month, and they'll gift a solid gold 22 karat, 1/10 ounce American Eagle bullion coin. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com for the American Eagle offer, or click the link in the description. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, the deep state, the central bank, the mainstream media, they're pushing their agenda. And their agenda is the Great Reset. It's the climate change agenda, all wrapped up into one. And as we know, these individuals, they like to make it seem like they're doing everything for the people. They're going to help out with the economy. They're going to make life a lot better. Well, if you look back in time, you can see from the private Western Central Bank, from the mainstream media, from all the corrupt politicians, with everything that they put into place, is the economy incredible? Is the value of the dollar holding steady, or is it losing value over time? Is the private corporation, known as the Fed, are they audited? And I'm talking about a forensic audit to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing in the best interest of the people. Actually, we should be getting rid of the Federal Reserve because there's no need for it. Is the world debt-free, or is it saturated in debt? This is what the corrupt politicians, the private Western Central Bank, the mainstream media has done to this world. Not just to this country, but to this world. They haven't made it better. They continually made it worse. If the dollar held steady and didn't decline over the many, many years, you wouldn't need two people working. You wouldn't need to live on credit. You wouldn't have to continually raise the minimum wage to keep up with the devaluing of the dollar. You wouldn't have to move manufacturing plants out of the country. You wouldn't have to do any of these things. And this is how you know. Every time they put forth this incredible idea, it sounds good in the beginning. It sounds like it's really going to benefit the people. But like with every bill, with every proposal, it is always the opposite. Take, for example, Biden's family plan. He's out there telling us that it's going to be incredible. It's going to be fantastic for the United States. But it seems that's not the case. This American Families Plan is more expensive than the White House even said it was going to be. And it would trigger negative growth. This is according to a new report. And this report was done by the Penn Wharton Budget Model Analysis. The American Families Plan would cost $2.5 trillion, or $700 billion more than the White House promised over the next 10 years. And according to this report from Penn Wharton, by 2050, the plan would decrease U.S. gross domestic product by 0.4% and increase the federal debt by 5%. The effects from the larger debt in the economy outweigh the productivity gains associated with the new spending programs. Like we've always said before, every time the government, these corrupt politicians, the central bankers come out and they tell you how great this plan's going to be, it's always the opposite. Think about what Trump did. They told us that the tariffs were going to be an awful, awful thing. If we place tariffs on China, it's going to hurt the U.S. economy. The iPhone's going to skyrocket in price. Industries are going to be destroyed here. Actually, the opposite happened. We know what the private central bank's mandate is. It's not about keeping everyone employed. It's not about keeping the dollar steady. It's about control. It's about debt. And right now, they're completely exposed to the entire world, and they're panicking. Janet Yellen was out there, and we talked about this in yesterday's report, how she said need to raise the interest rates because the economy is overheating. No, what they're really afraid of is inflation. They're afraid that it's going to get out of control. They're going to try to control it. Now, she flip-flopped and she's walking back what she said because it's something that she shouldn't have said. They don't want that out there. They don't want people to know this because their system is imploding. Their system is going to come tumbling down. This is why they're moving so quickly to move everyone into their great reset. The problem is they're trying to figure out what their narrative is going to be. Yes, they were going to use the pandemic because we were supposed to be in this pandemic for years upon years. The economy was supposed to be completely destroyed by the pandemic, but we're not seeing this. Let's talk about investing. Now, are you saving for retirement or just treading water? Are you depending on stocks or mutual funds? When diversifying what you really need to boost your funds, do you know it's easy to move out of an old 401k into precious metals like gold? And that's predicted to go up to about $2,500 an ounce soon. This could be the answer for you, so call the team at Noble Gold. Do it this month, and they'll gift you a free 22-karat American Eagle coin. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com, or click the link in the description. Actually, there's more and more businesses and companies opening up than ever before. It's like the pandemic is disappearing. Actually, out in Utah, with their bill that they passed, made into law, they said once they reach certain stats, the pandemic emergency orders, they're gone. And they just reached them, which means there is no pandemic. Remember, the pandemic was created by statistics, fear from the mainstream media. And they're trying, and I'm talking about the private Western Central Bank, they're trying very, very hard to try to steer the people of this world into their new system. Now, in the end, the people from the bottom up, they're going to decide where we go with the next economy. And the private Western Central Bank will not be able to stop this. I do believe that cryptocurrencies was put into place on purpose to counter what the private Western Central Bank wants. Yes, the private Western Central Bank, they've learned how to control gold and silver to make people look away from it. Yes, that will break out later, and people will see the truth. Yes, gold will eventually destroy the private Western Central Bank. But I do believe that crypto was put into place to counter what the private Western Central Bank is doing and allow the people, not from the top up, from the top moving down, but from the people from the bottom up, make the final choice. Now, what's very interesting is that for the first time, customers of some U.S. banks will soon be able to buy, hold, and sell Bitcoin from their existing accounts. Now, this is coming out of CNBC. And what they're saying is that not the bigger banks, but the smaller banks are driving this. The people are going into their hometown banks. They're pushing the idea that they would like to trade in Bitcoin. And the smaller banks are allowing this, which means the bigger banks are going to have to join the party. The people, they are deciding where we are headed with this new currency. We've said this before. Yes, it's going to start out slowly. Yes, the transition is going to start out with the people demanding more access to the currency. Yes, I'm calling it a currency. It's no longer an investment. It will be a currency. And people are going to demand to use this currency. Why? Number one, it's just like the digital currency we use today, except it's not controlled by the private Western Central Bank. It's decentralized. Two, it protects your wealth compared to the fiat system. And if people see their wealth growing, why wouldn't you want to be paid in crypto, Bitcoin? Let's take, for example, you have the fiat currency system, which they made into a digital currency system. And You receive that fiat currency, you put it into your bank. Now, banks, what are they giving you, like 0 to 1% or 2%, maybe, on your money? And then you put it into your wallet, into Bitcoin. And you put it in at 50,000 a coin. The next day it's at 51. The next day it's at 54. And so forth and so on. What about those accounts outside of the United States where they have negative interest rates? That's interesting. And remember, it's not just the interest rate. The value of the currency is continually dropping. When you see inflation in the stores, like with food, with fuel, with everything else, that means the value of your currency is dropping, which means you need more of that paper or the digital central bank currency to buy that same product. And yes, I know there's all different factors that are driving this, where if fuel prices move up, yes, it costs companies a lot more money to move the products, which means the prices of these products are going to move up. But we've seen this over time. Go back to 1913. Does a suit cost the same amount? No. Did the suit get more expensive? Did the materials get more expensive? Actually, they've gotten cheaper over time because the manufacturing process has been streamlined. What changed? The currency. The number of Federal Reserve notes in circulation. The amount of debt around the world. In the end, the people are going to make a choice, and we can see just from this article that people are already making the choice. They're demanding it. This is the start. And we're going to see this continue. And the central bank, yes, they're going to panic. They're going to deploy every piece of asset they have to try to stop this. But in the end, the people are going to make a decision. The majority of people are going to make the decision of where we should head. And I believe they're already making that decision. And it's not with the private Western Central Bank. It's completely the opposite way. And once gold and silver start to break out, start to move up dramatically, that will be the confirmation that the fiat system is completely failing. And I don't believe that is that far away. Yes, people are going to be moving into different currencies. This is the beginning of the transition. And we're going to see this as we move forward. Because with all this stimulus, with all this spending, not just here in the United States, but around the world, as you keep adding more and more currency to the system, you're going to see inflation, which really means the devaluation of the currency. Because there's more currency that is in circulation, it's devalued. And this is what we're going to experience. And people, they're going to protect themselves. If a loaf of bread moves up to $20 fiat, well, the $20 that you're holding, that just disappears. But if you took the 20 and you went into Bitcoin and another currency, and that protects your wealth against inflation, that 20 then becomes 40. So you're able to purchase that loaf of bread and still have currency left over. And I do believe people are going to start to figure this out. And people are going to make the move. And more people are going to join in. And as they do this, well, the other currency, the alternative currency, will start to move up. And as people leave the fiat system, that currency is going to drop. And we can see already that people are demanding to get into Bitcoin or any other type of cryptocurrency any way they can, because they're starting to realize what's really going on. The people, the patriots,